All right, so I guess we can get started. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us this Wednesday evening. Again, we are joined today with Madam Bridget, who has been so great with providing such great information and such great presentation slides as well. But before we begin, and before I pass it on to Madam Bridget, for those of you who are here, if you could kindly just drop your names and emails in the chat box, just because I know some names are either a phone number or a name of their phone. I think it would be great to know those who have attended. So if you could please kindly just drop your name and emails in the chat, that would be very, very helpful. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Madam Bridget, who will be presenting the topic of parents and youth bonding and sharing values. So I will make you the host, Madam Bridget.
Okay,
while
you make me the host, I may need a breakout room depending on the number we have. So I think that will be arranged at your end when I ask for it. All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Can I start sharing now? Am I ready to share?
Yes, you are now a host, Madam Bridget.
Okay. All right. Share presentation. Beginning. Those system resources may affect your audio. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
hello?
We can.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, you're clear, Madam Bridget.
Okay, I want to. This is from beginning. Okay. Okay, welcome. My system here is showing me system resource may affect your audio quality. Try closing some applications, and I don't have any application except my email and this. So if you don't hear me, just let me know, Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole, you're all clear.
It's all clear.
Yes, you're clear.
Okay. Welcome to Youth Now on Track Services workshop on new immigrant school system navigation support. Today's focus is parents and youth bonding and sharing values. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of the many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. One may ask, why do I always do this land acknowledgement? For me, I find it that here in Canada, Canada is a multicultural, multi-faith, and everything you can think of community. And if we watch the news closely, we know that it is important to acknowledge the land. It is important to acknowledge the original owners of the land. And when we deny one group of people, we deny all of us. Here's your agenda for today. Welcome and land acknowledgement, we've just done. We're going to do bonding, mother tongue way, historical background, parents and youth bonding, sharing values, standing united by love in the school system navigation, exchanging ideas, group discussion summary, choices, youth voices, and self-agency. And last but not least, self-recognition and your heritage. gonna change this view. Permit me, I need to change the view so I can see what I'm doing here. Don't like it like this. Nicole, do you know what I can do to change the view?
I think it might help if you stop sharing your screen for a bit, Madam Bridget, and then you might be able to change the view on your presentation.
Okay, let me do that.
The view is usually on the top, I think it should be top left-hand corner.
Yeah, I've got that. Okay, that's better. That's better. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can also see some of your notes for the next slide as well.
Okay, that's fine. You only see the one for the next slide?
We can see the slide in a small screen, and then we can also see the next slide on the side. So it's not a full screen anymore.
Oh, the first one we did was better?
Yes, it might have been much better, Madam Bridget. But it's okay, whatever works for you.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be talking and then people are not hearing me or not seeing what I'm doing. So let me go back. Sure. Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead with it. Okay, can you see the screen, Nicole?
Yes, it's still the same, Madam Bridget.
Oh, God. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Okay, mother tongue. One of the very important ways of learning values is through what we call mother tongue. And how does that work? Everyone knows when you have a little child and you keep repeating the same thing, that's how they learn the language. They grow, what do they see? What do they hear? What do they smell? What do they touch? It's all imbued in the mother tongue. What values are we sharing with them that will form their structure, their reference points as they grow? See, each one of us comes from a background
Oh, I think she might have lost connection. She should be back with us shortly. Sorry, folks. Sorry, everyone, we're having a bit of some technical difficulties. She will be joining us just in a bit. She just joined, and I think she just lost her connection again, so it shouldn't take too long. Sorry about that, everyone. Welcome back, Madam Bridget.
Thank you. I'm going to start back again. Okay, why? Okay, what's going on here? All right. So let me start by asking, what activities do you or can you do together with your child or the youth in your life? Those are some of the activities we can do. But can anybody tell me how they create bonding relationship or practice their language of parental heritage, their culture, and so on? Anybody can discuss? No? Okay, let's continue. It is important when you are trying to bond with your children. Usually they say you bond when you're small and even from the stomach, but as the kids grow, it becomes even more important to transfer that culture, to talk about events. Even when you go to the park or to the zoo, you discuss what you saw, how it happened, what happens in your country of origin, and so on and so forth. So cultural transfer comes from parents to children as they watch, see, and hear what you do and say. They may disagree with you at the time, but as they grow, by the time they are whatever age they are beginning to come back and see the wisdom in some of the things you were telling them. They also, when they are alone in school, especially the young ones that are still in school, when they are alone in school, your voice is always playing in their heads. No matter what adversity they face, when they remember that my mom, my dad cares, my mom and dad said this and that, it gives them a reference point. So developing that bond helps to develop the confidence that your child takes to school. One of the things, if you're a new migrant and you're in an area where you are new, say you're not even a new immigrant, you just moved schools. One of the things one should do is to take a walk. Take the kid, take a walk around the school building, check it out, see what's happening. Let the surrounding become almost familiar, at least, before school begins. Go with the kid, create excitement. In other words, create excitement. Go shopping, buy the school supplies, see what you can put here and there. And then in the morning of the school, you want to continue that bond. You go to school, I think I've just jumped a slide, but it doesn't matter. You want to continue the bonding by discussing with your children. As a parent or guardian, it is important that you show them that you care, because that's part of showing love. Sometimes you yourself are new. If you're new to the country, you're new to the culture, you feel probably terrified. And what is in there for my child? My child is going for the first time, if it's one that's just starting school. How is he going to feel? She's going to cry, do everything. But one of the things that parents often forget sometimes is when their child starts crying, they start crying also. It's instinctive, it's not a bad thing, but it will be so much better if the parent did not show, at least to the kid, that they are fearful. Because what happens then, the kid, that fear gets transferred onto the young child, or even an older child. Here, you can reach into your culture before that time and draw and remember the stories you shared with your child, the things that happened where you came from, if the child came with you from your old country, and remember some of the fun things that happened, see what similarities there would be and what differences. If the child doesn't come with you from the old culture, talk about your own experience in the old culture. Talk about the things you speak about at home that embodies value, because these are the things that would help the child know that they are not just empty shells coming into this place that's full of everything good, and they have nothing to do with it. They have a lot to contribute, and it is us, the parents, the guardians, the caretakers, that will assure these kids that this is what's happening, that they are valuable, they are bringing something, they can share something. When school does events like schoolyard sale or school cultural day, they can bring their own cultural food or cultural wear. And this is how we begin to use that bonding approach, that mother tongue approach. If your child speaks your language, by the way, when you get here, just keep speaking it, even as they are getting immersed in English. If you speak patois, if you speak Pidgin English, whatever, keep speaking it, because what that does is it evaluates, or it gives the children the encouragement that they are valued, that their culture has something, there's something good there. My mom speaks to me that way. The first day of school, the morning of, the good thing to do is, as they prepare for school and so on and so forth, spend some time talking about some expectations, just ease their worries, encourage them, perhaps going over school information or little ones with the little ones. And if at all possible, I know parents are working, sometimes they're not there. If it's at all possible, walk your child to school or drive your child to school and, say hello to the teacher before you leave. And this way, the child feels supported and they don't feel like they're all alone. One of the important aspects of bonding is that mother tongue, that language you speak. Even if it's one word you say to your child in your language as you depart, that gives them a point of reference. The next slide gives an insight into the system that that disenfranchises kids. So I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to just gloss it over and then we'll go to the next one, because I'm going to come back to it. Now, this next thing that I'm going to use here is a video by somebody called Dr. Davidson. Now, it talks specifically about Africa. You may not be from Africa, but you're listening. What I would like you to do with it is to use it as a reference point. Take it, transplant it into the continent you come from, into the culture you come from, into the whys that brought you to Canada, into the experiences you're having. It might be talking about something large, but distill it down to what you could relate to. And after that, we're going to discuss. It is 9 minutes long, but I'm going to shorten the part you see to about 7 minutes.
We're unable to hear anything, Madam Bridget.
Pardon me?
We're unable to hear the volume.
Are you hearing it?
No, unfortunately, I am not.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. So do you know how I can make it so that everybody can hear it? Nicole?
Yes, I know there should be, before sharing the video, the audio on your computer should be on and running as well.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, before I start it, what do you say I should do?
Yes, so you should go to the bottom of your screen, and you should pretty much enable the volume. Sometimes the volume
Which one?
should be at the bottom of your screen, where the volume should be enabled. Sometimes that may be the issue, unless when you share your screen, sometimes they ask for the audio check mark at the bottom as well when you share.
Set video settings, virtual background filter. Audio. Share. Okay. Is it any better? Is it any better?
You're not sharing your screen, Madam Bridget. I just hear you.
Oh.
destroyed their culture.
Yes.
And after
Much better, Madam
being
Bridget.
made rich at their expense,
Can you hear
we
it
now
now?
steal their
Yes, much
brains
better.
through miseducation
Okay, I'm
and
going to back
propaganda.
it up a little.
To prevent them, it is 3 times the area of China, 3 times the area of Europe, 3 times the area of United States of America. Meaning, you can transplant China, Europe, and United States, and several other countries on the Africa continent, and they will fit neatly. Africa is 30.5 million square kilometers and a youthful population of 1.3 billion inhabitants. China is 9.6 million square kilometers and 1.4 billion inhabitants. India has a total space of 3.3 million square kilometers and 1.4 billion inhabitants. Now, yet, Africa is projected as overpopulated, and pressure mounts on Africans and their leaders to depopulate. Why? Why? Now, please note, Africa is home to 60% of the world's arable land, 90% of raw material reserve, 40% of gold reserve, 33% of diamond reserve, 95% of platinum reserve, and holds the largest bauxite reserves in the world. Of course, in addition to manganese, woods, uranium, crude oil, and others. Yet, the continent is touted as the poverty capital of the world and ripe for depopulation. The question is, why? Well, President Jacques Chirac of France provides an illuminating insight. He said, "We bled Africa for 4.5 centuries. We looted their raw materials, then we told lies that the Africans are good for nothing. In the name of religion, we destroyed their culture. And after being made rich at their expense, we now steal their brains through miseducation and propaganda to prevent them from enacting black retribution against us," unquote. Well, put simply, for over 4 centuries, Africa is not in control of its resources. Look, a 2016 study of Africa by the NGO called War on Want reveals that 101 companies, mostly British, control $305 billion worth of platinum, $276 billion worth of oil, and $216 billion worth of coal at 2016 market prices. Yes, they own mines or mineral licenses in 37 African countries and control vast swaths of Africa's land, 4 times the size of the United Kingdom. Now look, Africa subsidizes the rest of the world by $32 billion annually. A 2017 report by Global Justice Now and other groups estimates that $161.6 billion enter into Africa, while $202.9 billion leave Africa almost every year. For example, in 2017, Africa received a total of $19.7 billion in aid, but paid back $18 billion in debt repayments. Debt burden is killing Africa. African governments have borrowed between 25 and 75% of their GDP, but with little or nothing to show for it. Africans in the diasporas remit not less than $32 billion annually, but multinational companies siphon $32.4 billion in profits and illicit financial outflows. Look, an estimated $29 billion are stolen via illegal logging, fishing, and poaching annually. How can any continent, country, or people accumulate and sustain wealth, growth, and prosperity with such statistics? That's a great question. Well, look, hopefully, now you know your Africa better. Edmund Mbiaka once wrote, "Peace of mind always comes with knowing who you truly are, where you currently stand, where you positively need to be, and strongly believing in its possibility. Africa needs to control its resources, no doubt. For productive, patriotic, and effective leadership, we need our best and ablest citizens with fortified character in local, state, and federal governments. This must be given utmost consideration in upcoming elections across Africa. Let me say it once more, our problem is not the age of our leaders, but unfortified character. It is your responsibility to protect and defend your Africa. The starting point is to educate and transform the mindset of our leaders and peoples. Look, the least you can do is to assist with ensuring that this message reaches every African. Slavery destroyed us. Religion divided us. Ignorance controls us. And truth scares us. With these retrogressive forces, Africa will remain a dark continent. So we must renew our minds. Please share this video in support of my efforts at reconstructing Africa through mindset transformation. You see, together, we will reconstruct Africa and take charge of our destiny. For who controls Africa controls the world. I thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try to exit so this thing doesn't keep playing. So bear with me. Where is it now? Close it. Okay, good. Are we back? Hello?
Yes, yes, you are, Madam Bridget.
Okay, we're back. Okay. So next we want to, we have 11 people here. 11 people. Let's break them up into 2 rooms, Nicole. Let's break the people in here up into 2 rooms. And what I would like each group to discuss. What's our time? What's our timing like, Nicole?
We are approaching 6:12 p.m. Madam Bridget, my only concern would be if we do breakout rooms, will it stop the recording?
Oh, yeah, it might, yeah, the breakout rooms won't record. So you'd rather we don't?
I think it might be best to do a nice big group discussion. There's only 12.
Okay, it's only 11 people, right? Or 12 people.
Yes.
So let's, okay, let's do a discussion then. Okay, welcome back. Can people please put their hands up? I'm going to stop screen sharing. I'm going to come back and finish the video. But right now, Nicole, I'm going to stop sharing so we can talk a little bit. People can relate a little bit because what he's talking about here is how the relevance of this video has to do with fortifying character, the character of the children we raise, the character of our young people, how we transfer values. Does anyone have ideas or questions that they would like to ask? No questions? No ideas?
I think we transfer value to our kids by showing them by example, like what we do, what we say, and things like that.
Thank you, Blessing.
Yeah, I think I would like to say something as well. I know what my family does in terms of bonding. I know food is a huge, huge way to kind of carry, family traditions, in regards to, meeting new people, kind of sharing, similarities in that aspect as well. So I know food is a huge thing in my family.
Right. Thank you, Nicole. Anyone else? Does anybody or can anybody remember when their kids go to school, when their kids were in school and they have cultural day, whereby each student in the class or in the school, it depends on how big it is required to either dress in their own attire and bring a sampling of food. We did it, I think YNOT did it in the summer camp this year. People brought different snacks from different places. Do you realize how impactful that can be on young minds growing? And say, oh, today I'm taking my food to school. I'm going to show them what we have for snacks. I'm going to share with them and let them see me, what I wear, or what my mom or my dad or my grandma wears as a cultural outfit. We may not recognize how important this is, but it is really very grounding, should I say, for the kids. And so if nobody else has any comments or questions, I'm going to go back to sharing the screen so I can finish this presentation. I hope I don't lose the volume. Okay. I poked around and I found this. This is, I put foods there in quotation mark. This is food for the mind, if you like. Okay. And the other things I added there as a footnote is, this is just one example of what we see. Taking food to school is an example of what how we can build up the strength of our kids. Looking at the museum might also be one, but a younger youth might benefit from finding out about the women whose face, or in Canada here, the woman whose face is on the Canadian $10 bill, how she gave voice to the voiceless. How Marianne Shad, I haven't mentioned, this is the person on the $10 bill, Viola, what? Viola Simon? Okay. There's Mary Ann Shad, Lincoln Alexander, Jean Augustine. There are so many people that looks like them that they could relate to. So it is our duty as parents to really help kids learn and discover these places. And one of the places they're going to discover them could be a museum of some kind. Here is an example of historical facts that come to light. This one is called Emancipation Day. How many people know that August is Emancipation Month? Did you know? Who knows? It's a time to celebrate. It's a time to, what it is really is that in Canada, the House of Commons on March 24, 2021, voted unanimously to designate August 1 as Emancipation Day in Canada. In many former European colonies around the world, as well as the United States of America, Tibet's autonomous region in China, and in Canada, it marks the actual day was in 1834. that the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833 came into effect across the British Empire. Canadians are not always aware that Black and Indigenous peoples were once enslaved in the land that is now Canada. So these are the kind of information is power, the kind of knowledge that we need to help our kids absorb, understand, because a whole lot of these things are not taught in schools. For this particular event, they have other places you can visit. There's a free general admission to many places where you can see the emancipation artifacts and so on. If anybody is interested in this, please contact YNOT, because what I'll do is I'll pass this on and they can share, because some of these things have links. If I touch them, they'll click. So I'm going to go on and go to the next one. Now, this is the information I skipped earlier. Some protective factors associated with family at every age. Now, people discuss and say, you know, relationship dynamics and functioning of family relationships. Okay, the first column there says relationship based on family bond, positive support within the family, adequate parental supervision, respect for friends by parents, closeness between parents and children, affection. Because sometimes you're upbraiding your kid and you say, no, you can't go there, you can't do this. And they say, oh yeah, my mother or my father doesn't like me. Is it that you don't like them? Or is it that you love them? You want to protect them? This is what you have to make clear to the kid. Quite often they don't realize it, but parents have to take it upon themselves to say, hey, I'm saying that because I love you, because I don't want you to get hurt. Because I think you need to go there with somebody else who can support you. Okay, so kids watch their parents' behavior and how they relate to them. And when they are confused, it is your job and my job to explain. Now, this study, this is from Public Safety Canada website, by the way. This study says that some of the things that affect bonding and closeness is parental level of education. I beg to differ. A parent can be educated to high heavens, but if they have not learned a single thing about how to bring their kids close, do small little things, kick ball, go to the park with their parents, with their children, because they're too busy chasing the high education and so on, I see a problem there. Financial stability is great, but finances alone will not a bond make. Stability of family unit will. The reason is, even if you have one loaf of bread to share with your kid for the week, if there's that closeness, there's that bond, there is that explanation, there is that understanding that this is what we have to last us for a week. And the next door neighbor doesn't have to know. The friends on the street don't have to know that this is what we have. We share it with love and with effort and plan on how we're going to make it 2 loaves next week. So the stability of family unit, and that doesn't mean, when I say stability, I don't know what they mean here, but you know, it doesn't have to be 2-parent family. It can be 1 parent with several children, 1 parent with 1 child. But the consistency with which the parents approach their relationship approach speaking with their kids, approach disciplining their kids, explaining, showing love is really what counts. Taking your kid to the most expensive store and buying the most expensive shirt or belt or shoe does not bond the make. The kid will like you for your money. And if it is a case of a family that's apart, they play one parent against the other. And both parents have got to be aware of this. If you want something that's good for your kid, the parents, whether you see eye to eye or not, got to agree. If your mom said you can't do this, don't go to your dad and say, let me get this. Because when you do it, then the child has no stability. It has no limits. It has no reference point. Okay, so the integrative family, integration of family into the life of their community, the involvement of families in extracurricular activity, that word is funny, is also very important, which means that even though there may be just one parent, you try as best as you can to at least show up in some of the events that happen at your child's school, whether it's a parent-teacher day, whether it's an activity day, whether it's a school trip or something like that. So that when your child sees you there, he looks up and says, my mom is here, or my dad is here, or my auntie is here. It is so good. I cannot overemphasize that. I know it is hard, but always, always be there whenever you can. Even if you do it once a year, because your schedule, your work schedule or school schedule doesn't allow you. It is always good to know for the child to feel loved, for the child to feel I am here. It's not good for your child to be the only one in school whose parent has never shown up to any activity in the school. It is, that is one of my beef. I remember one time I was having some friends over and we were discussing. And one of the parents said to another parent, because she had brought her child with her, he said, why is your child always reading? We're here discussing. And he's not playing with the younger ones that are here. He was away in a corner reading. And the mother said, believe it or not, he thinks there is something in it, because all he sees is his dad and myself studying. They were both at York University. So she thinks there's something, or he thinks there's something in studying. So this is an example of a child that sees what parents do and they do it. So what you do in front of your kid is very, very important. I'm not saying kids shouldn't go out and play. I'm not saying that you should not give them some kind of discipline or free time. But whatever you do in front of your kid, please be mindful. So self-agency starts at home. This video here is really wraps up all that we've been talking about today. And I'm sorry about all the breakup of the video and the way the system here or the energy went off on me. So forgive me for that, but I want you to hear this, and that will be the last video and we can talk.
Afford not to be interested or not participate in politics. Politics is not only activism, it's awareness, it's keeping ourselves informed, it's caring for the facts. When it's possible, it's casting a vote. Politics is the tool through which we structure ourselves as groups and societies. Politics covers every aspect of life, and by not participating in it, you're literally allowing other people to decide on what you can eat, where, if you can have access to healthcare, free education, how much tax you pay, when you can retire, what is your pension, Other people are also deciding on whether your race and ethnicity is enough to consider you a criminal, or if your religion and nationality is enough to put you on a terrorist list. We need to teach people at an early age about decision-making and how to be part of it. Every family is its own mini political system that is usually not democratic, because parents make decisions that affect all members of the family while the kids have very little to say. Similarly, politicians make decisions that affect the whole nation while the people have very little to say in them. My proposal and advice is try out the family democracy meeting system, because that will enable your kids to exercise their agency in decision-making from a very early age. If you include your kids in family conversations, they will grow up and know how to participate in political conversations. And most importantly, they will help others engage.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, let me share screen. Go back. Yeah. Next slide. Okay, these other things here are just statistics that anybody can access through the system here. And if you want a copy of it, reach out to YNOT. I thank you for your time. And now the floor is open. You guys we can discuss. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Bridget. Again, we apologize for any technical difficulties. Things happen, as you may know. It's the internet. But other than that, I would like to thank you so much for joining us today. But before we go, if anyone has any questions, anything that anyone would like some more clarification on, please feel free to unmute yourself or ask away in the chat box. We are for sure open to any type of discussion before we head out. But if not, again, Madam Bridget will for sure provide me with any information from today's meeting. And again, this recorded Zoom will be posted on our YouTube account where you will be able to watch in case you missed anything or in case you wanted to share any other information. So thank you. I think we had a question, or David, did you want to say something? Oh, no, okay, yeah, I guess if anyone
No, somebody here says,
yes.
Sis Elisa, I do. I think she has a question. She's still here. Where is it? Hello? I just went into the chat room to see. No?
No, I think that was from one of your questions, Madam Bridget.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming, whoever is here. Blessing, Chinwe, Ifani, David Mwezek, MGK, Francis, Chinano, Galaxy 7, Udonis, and all the rest of it. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, thank you, Madam Bridget, again for presenting such a great presentation with lots of information and knowledge to share.
Okay.
Again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and day. All right, thank you. Take care.
I'm going to end now.